I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
What the hell's going on out here?
2 Owls, 1 Pod, broadcasting live from the Big Deep Blues. I'm Al Ducharme. I'm on Royal Caribbean's Brilliance of the Seas, coming down from Alaska, heading to Vancouver, Canada. And Al Romas is on the Oasis of the Seas, heading to Cape Canaveral to meet his girlfriend. What's
Isn't
going
that
on?
weird? Isn't that weird? We're sailing from Newark, New Jersey. We left Friday afternoon, and we'll arrive in Port Canaveral, Florida, Sunday afternoon. You could drive faster than the ship. Now, I don't know if a nautical mile is longer than a regular mile.
You should know this because you're a Navy.
I should know that. I knew it back in the day.
Did you really serve?
You've seen me shit, shower, and shave. You know it.
I do. 7 minutes. Boom.
That's right. That's right.
3
And the
times
bed
longer
is made.
than my sexual escapades with my wife. Pow, pow, pow. Self-deprecating.
Is that self-deprecating, or is that a slam on your wife?
Well, I was slamming.
You know what I'm saying? That's true. But you know
what are we
I mean?
having, a Tom Cotter podcast? Play on words? Wendy Liebman Light? What the hell's going on?
Don Gavin light for both of them.
Now,
Yeah.
so I see this. I get my phone bill, and it says $289 for a phone call to India. I'm like, who the hell? But hey, Punjab, did you make a phone call? His roommate.
Don Gavin.
He has an Indian
that's
roommate.
hilarious.
It's hysterical.
Of course he does. For that joke, you need an Indian roommate. That's awesome.
He goes, I went to Puerto Rico. Beautiful island. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans there. I don't know how they can afford it. Does he still do that, John? Can he still do that joke?
I bet he does, and he can.
Why not? And he can.
Yeah, exactly.
He's 75 years old.
That's right, and it's hilarious and good for him. I got on this thing in Bayonne, and we had talked on a previous pod. You know that walk? You have that long walk from the ship. If you want to leave, it's about 1.5 miles, and there's really not a safe way to do it either. It's cars and it is. It's the Bayonne Death March. But I was coming from my hotel to the ship, and I had this Indian-ish driver. I don't know what he was, to be honest.
Uber.
A little bit of a smell. Yeah, Uber. And we get there into that main road part, and it's all traffic because it's 1 o'clock or whatever. Nothing but traffic, and his app is telling him it's going to be an 8-minute delay. And this guy starts losing his shit he's driving, and he's like, what, the 8 minutes? No, 8 minutes. No, 8 minutes. No. And I'm like in the back going, oh boy. I go, oh yeah, I know, we're traffic, big ship, right? And he's like, 8 minutes. And I'm like, oh shit. All right, dude. So I'm looking, and I can kind of see where the turn and the ship would be over there. So I go, hey, man, you want me to get out here? And he goes, no, you can't. Where? I go, I get out right here. I'll just get out and walk. You could turn around, and then you'll save your 8 minutes. And then he looks at me and goes, oh, you're a very nice man. You're a very nice man. Very nice.
Meanwhile, you're like, this guy's going to skin me.
I would exactly. I was, the smell was getting to me anyway, and the idea of being with an angry, whatever the fuck he is, that was going to be a long 8 minutes for me. So I thought, you know what, I'll walk it, and got out, and he was very happy with that. And then I started walking, and I'm like, and then I remember we were just having this conversation, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on this road, but luckily all the traffic was going to the ship. Nobody was coming back at that time, so no one really was ready to, hit me.
Right. But intermittently a car would go flying by after being in that traffic.
Yeah, intermittently. And but I hate that feeling because it's not my fault. But the driver, I get it. He's losing money. He could be on another fare. He's sitting there. I get it. but don't get fucking weird at me. You know what I mean? I felt like the other half I was going to go like, hey, dude, shut up. This is the job. I mean,
And you give him
you and
5
I are on
stars.
stage. If we get a dead crowd or a heckler thing, we can't just be up there going, fuck this. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. We got to like still be funny.
Right.
So I'm sorry, that was your job, dude. And you were in traffic.
Did you tip him?
I think I did.
Why would you tip him? You say
I don't know. Whatever. I hit tip. Yeah.
Did you give him a 5 star?
I didn't give him a rating. It was just, when you get the thing and it says, do you want to hit tip? And I hit tip, but I didn't rate him. But I kind of get it. You got to be professional though, and how professional can you be as an Uber driver?
Especially when now, did he smell like BO or curry? Because it's a difference.
Oh, it was a mixture. It was a mixture. Yeah.
So was he Pakistani or was it? And these aren't slights. I'm just trying to figure out.
It was very Indian, very Indian.
Very Indian you're talking about. Okay?
Very Indian, yes. And it was kind of a warm day, and he was wearing a lot of like a big wool sweater. And it was like, dude, it's like 79 degrees. I mean, what are we doing here? So that was cooking in the smell.
Oh, wow.
And I think he was cooking in that sweater the night before. So we had a lot going on.
His family has a restaurant. He's like, I'm going to do this as my side gig, so I can my side hustle, make some money, and I'll pick up I'll pick up some white guy from the ship.
Right. And now 8 minutes.
8 minutes. What the
minutes?
What the? Oh my God!
8 minutes.
Oh boy! Oh, your God!
I'm like, dude. I go, yeah, 8. I go to probably be like 3. You know how these things never they're never right. It'll move. And then it did move. We sat there for another minute. It did not move at all. That's when he lost it again. That's when I was like, why don't I get out? Why don't I just do that?
Sounds like he was unstable, though. It wasn't like if I do this guy might get out, because he didn't think you were going to get out.
No. He was very, maybe he worked in a restaurant for 18 hours and now he was very angry.
And maybe he had to get back to the restaurant for.
I can't blame him. I don't know his situation. Who knows? And you think, and it's not even a big fare. I picked you up at the hotel. It was only like $16 to the port. So it wasn't any like he was making money. So I think with that an 8-minute wait, he was like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
He's making
like he thought it was gonna be a quick $16.
Right.
And it was turning out to not be. Which that's that job though.
Yep, it is that job. And it's not always going to be like that. And sometimes you're going to get the $16 and it's going to be a 4-minute thing. And you pick someone up right away that's got a $30 fare. It's right. At the end of the day,
it evens out.
It's shitty.
Well, it's shitty and it evens out. It's
at the end of the year. Yeah.
Like I delivered pizza, the first pizza, the guy might tip you $5 and you go, whoa, this is going to be a big night for me. And then the next 3, there's no tip.
Right.
So when the hour ended, it always kind of evened out to the same amount of money.
I have a question for you. And
about 9.5 inches, but that's not hard.
No, that's a Canadian measurement. That's centimeters.
Oh, what was the question?
The question is, and I want you to be honest. Were you delivering a pizza when you got in that Uber? Be honest. Did you say
was I delivering a pizza?
Yeah. Were you doing like Postmates and said, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to do Postmates, but I'm going to have someone else drive and I'll make more money and save on gas. No.
I'm talking about 1980. This is when I delivered pizza. None of this. Yeah.
It was a stretch.
It was a stretch. All right. It was so stretchy, I couldn't even go with it. I was like, I don't think this guy knows what he's talking about.
We were improvising, and the number one rule was
how could I improvise?
Do not deny.
Postmates.
Do not deny. Once you deny somebody who's doing improv with you, then you shut it down. You torpedo the ship, and I think you're familiar with that term.
Hey, now. Yeah. I was on stage the other night, and this girl was, I don't know what happened. Anyway, I was talking about dating apps. And I said, like, oh, anyone on dating apps? And this girl's like, I am. And I go, oh, and she goes, I'm with him. I met him on Tinder. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Great. And I go, recently? And she goes, no, 5 years ago. Wow. I go, oh, and she's getting a little weird, And I go, oh, you married? Married the guy from Tinder? She goes, not yet, but I giving head. And I go, excuse me? I go, you giving head? That's, he's not going to marry you. You're giving head. And she goes, then the crowd's laughing. And then she's like embarrassed and shit. But she had some weird like Louisiana accent. And she was saying hints. She was saying hints. I'm giving hints. which in my ear I heard head, and then I said, well,
Oh,
if you're giving head, that's quite a hint, and then it became fun, and
if you
crowd
recorded that,
fucking loved
you
it.
could have released that
Oh,
as your special. You fucked
yeah,
up.
it was one of those. Yeah, and if Helen Keeney's listening, she'll be screaming about it because she was always like, she tells me you got to set up a camera for every show and then edit. You can do crowd work and then get a nice little moment and put it up there. And I'm like, yeah, I got to do that. Yeah, I got to do that.
You got to do that.
Got to do that
on the Oasis. How many? I see a lot of people posting from those Oasis class ships because
you need a good camera because the phone
you're doing
is
14. No, what phone do you have? Which one?
The 2. I think the 2.
You have the earphone, or you have the ass phone.
The ass phone.
Yeah, you got to get the iPhone.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, dude! You denied me again.
It's early.
This is improv. Early. It's early. I'm 4 hours earlier than you. I'm in Alaska.
Well, I had a weird morning because the night before I went to bed at 2:45 and had to get up at 8 a.m. for the turnaround. Yeah. And I haven't done that in a long time, and anyone who listens know I don't drink on the cruises. I don't drink, but the comic I was with, his girlfriend had the drink package, and she was very, very generous with cocktails.
A drink package.
Yes, and we went out after the last show. But so anyway, yesterday I was very tired, and then we said we're going to pod this morning at you just wrote 10 a.m. Saturday. Now I forgot you were in Alaska. I don't know your itinerary always. So last night, the second show, I went to bed, and I had coffee being delivered at 9 a.m. Well, there was no so I go, I don't need an alarm. They'll come, they'll bring coffee. I'll be up, then I'll pod with Alfred. No knock at the door, no call, nothing. At 10:30, they knock on the door. I was still sleeping. I slept right through 10:30. So they knock on the door with the coffee. I pour the coffee. Then I'm like, what the fuck, 10:30? So I turn my phone on, figuring you're going to be like, what the fuck? Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. And you're not there.
No.
So then I'm like, well, this is what's going on here. So then I wrote to you.
You've been here 4 hours. John Panette.
John Panette, everybody.
At the buffet, John Panette, who weighed 389 pounds, would go to the all-you-can-eat buffets at the Chinese restaurant, and he'd do an impression of the owner marching behind him, and his physical thing that he did on stage as this big, obese man. Oh, funniest visual.
Well, when they say you can't follow someone or something, most people you can follow. You will be that kind of a guy in a bit. You can't follow. If John Panette's out there for doing his set, you're not following him.
You've been here 4 hours. You go home now. And he was doing the accent perfect.
Yeah.
And he's just doing what happened to him. It was a real thing.
Right.
And now I don't even know if he's dead now, but you can't. Can you do that impression?
I think if he did that now as brand new, no one knew him, and that bit, I think it would get flagged, and it wouldn't.
But it's not racism.
Online.
But they're saying that doing an accent
saying a
when
voice
you're
nowadays,
when you're not, if you do, because I do voices and accents, and you could, if you are white and you do an Irish accent, you're fine. But if you're white and you do an Asian accent, you're a racist. And that just does not equate to me. That does not make sense at all.
Know.
Someone took the definition of racism and put it in doing accents if you're not of the same race.
Well,
and it's
people without
incorrect.
a brain.
It's incorrect.
Right. People without a brain will just react. Like if you're a white guy doing that voice, they'll just, oh, and you're like, you don't even know what we're doing. Like, don't react like that. You know what I mean? Like there was an Irish couple one show, and I was just, doing like old school. I was making fun. Every time I asked him a question or whatever, I just go, well, you're obviously hammered. You're drunk as shit right now. Just making the old Irish stereotype. And it went great. But in the back of my head, I was waiting for someone to groan or be like, hey. I'm like, no, they're fun. They're having fun with it. Who cares? But
when you're doing it, you're making fun of the stereotype and how ridiculous it is. It's not.
Well, in a way, but also I'm calling these people drunks.
No, that's what I'm saying, because of the stereotype. So
right.
it's not 25 years ago, 30 years ago, where you're
I wish it
saying
was.
you are the stereotype. You're making fun of the stereotype
Right.
and how much
Right.
it's blown out of proportion.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's always going to be some person who takes offense, or whatever this offense is. It's mind-boggling that, to me, and I guess whatever, but to these words, actually, these people are affected or offended. I've never had that, even before comedy. I just can't imagine if I wasn't a comedian, just a guy. Why would I be offended? I might not like it. I might go, that's not that funny. But to be offended by something seems so ridiculous.
Well, that's where the woke thing went too far.
Yeah.
Being woke, okay, be woke. But when you take woke and then you multiply it times pi, it's like, well, what can we say? And
you're right.
As a stand-up comedian, you and I are very in tune to what's going on out there. But the woke bandwagon just went off the cliff, man. Ooh, holy shit!
I don't even know what it means anymore. I mean, I did know, and I'm agree with it. I think it just means like being educated about things and not being stuck in 1950. And okay, I get all that, great. But yeah, now it's at a point where you just go, I don't know what's happening anymore. To be honest.
Nope.
I don't know, man. Between that AI and other things, it could be a limited run out here.
I'm
in
not
comedy
happy with this one. I'm trying to get.
I like how you
get out of it. I'm just.
Thanks, partner.
In the podcast world, you'll say something, and then you're supposed to really be listening to the other person when they start to go off like that. They're looking at you. They're telling you, take over. And I saw that. I'm like, nothing. Let them.
My brain's it's slowly
let them fry in that one.
I have nothing happening there. And then you're in the.
Well, I just want to go back to our memory because we have a lot of discussions, and a lot of them we do. You and I use Facebook Messenger, and it works better on
like two 14-year-old girls.
Right, but that Facebook Messenger, I think, for the most part, is great. 95% of the time.
Sure.
Not 100%, but it's just something that you and I have. We communicate. When I get a text from you, or vice versa, I'm sure I'm like, what the fuck is he texting me for? Because you and I have chosen, and I kind of like it because I really don't communicate with many people on Facebook Messenger, and I communicate with often. But I did say,
we're
I'm
always
in
on
Alaska.
Different ships. It's easier.
I said, I'm in Alaska, blah, 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 blah. But I was coming in from North Carolina, and I went to Alaska, and then we moved our clocks back another hour. So I was 4 hours behind you. So there was a gap of communication between us where either you forgot or you didn't put together that I was 4 hours behind. And that's why we had a little,
well, you've been on the move, man. So it's like, you were in North Carolina, you were in Virginia, and then all of a sudden you were in Alaska. So I wasn't sure where you were. And usually we'll write like 10 a.m. / 2 p.m. And this one just said Saturday, 10 a.m. So I just took it as like, well, I'll be there at 10 a.m.
I think sometimes I make the mistake, if you scroll up, it breaks it down with the slash. I give this 2 times. And then I think I was just like 10 a.m. for whatever reason.
Yeah. But it works. It worked out. And, this connection, we work with it. I'm in the middle of the ocean heading to Florida. You're in the middle of the ocean heading to where? Vancouver.
Another country.
Sort of Canada.
You were just up in Nova Scotia. Go ahead.
Nova Scotia and St. John's, New Brunswick. I don't know if you've you've probably been to both of those places. Yeah, very nice. I was looking for the European type coffee, sit outside with a cappuccino, a fancy one, and I didn't find that. I found Tim Hortons and kind of basic. So
question. You said Nova Scotia. Yes. What part of Nova Scotia? You didn't go to Halifax, right?
We're in Halifax, sir.
And you couldn't find one of those places?
No, I could not find a nice. Well, probably didn't. But no, I did some. I put in, many, many steps. I did look.
Did you stay along the coast, or did you go in?
I would walk the waterfront for a mile or two. Right. Then I made a left. I went into the city because I was also looking at cigars, and they had like one cigar shop, and I mean the guy. It was beyond. I should have filmed it. It was so ridiculous. He had like 25 cigars in a humidor. So
What
each
was this,
box had one
basement?
stick in it. It was just, but a very fancy place, nowhere to sit, just getting it out. But about 25 cigars, and they were all Cubans. And the cheapest Cuban he had there was like a Cohiba, and that was about $130.
Oh, Canadian.
And that was the cheapest. Yeah, that was the cheapest.
So you
And I
get
just-
30% off. Fuck you. $100 for a cigar. That's horseshit. And you don't even know if they're real or not.
That's right. And with these things you got to do. I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, they have these apps, and you can scan the band and find. I mean, who wants to stand there for 40 minutes scanning bands and counting dots on the
Get a
Cohiba
Dominican.
label?
I
need 15 dots heading down and 30 to the side. Oh, fuck.
Get a Dominican blend, and you're fine.
Hell yeah. I've been smoking hand rolls now, just these local hand rolls. They're $5 and they're fucking great.
They're fresh.
So they're all great. So, and a lot of places are doing that. I picked them up in Bayonne. I went to Little Havana, a little cigar shop. This guy's got the worst work ethic in the world. Every time I go in Bayonne, I go to the diner, have breakfast, and then I'll head over there. And this guy opens whenever the fuck he feels like it. That's his motto. Not motto, but that's how he is. So if I go there at 10:30, might be open, might not be. And 2 days ago, whatever it was, his sign, of course, he's closed. And the sign says return at 11:30. I go, all right. So I'm there at like 11:20. So, all right, I'll wait 10 minutes, but 10 minutes come and go, 15 minutes, 20. He has, and his phone.
What was that, like Fred Sanford hours?
Yeah, exactly. And the business phone is his cell phone. So if you call it, he goes, hello. He doesn't say like Little Havana. He goes, hello. And then, so this happened like, a year ago. I'm like, dude, hey, I'm outside your shop. Are you open today? He goes, what do you mean you're outside? I go, yeah. He goes, no, I'm home. I go, will you be here today? He goes, yeah, noon. He hangs up. Like, this is how he works.
Very New Jersey, too. Where's he from? Do you know?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. No real accent, but he's European guy,
Right.
And the shop is one of these, Little Havana. I mean, I'm glad he's there, but it's like, 2 broken chairs and dirt from 1980. It's just on the floor. So I give him and then but he has these hand rolls, and they're like $6, and they're really good, thick, long, like Maduros, and it's great. So I buy a bunch, and I go, can you put some butane, in the lighter? And he goes, oh yes, yeah. So let me look at that. And then I'm like, all right. So then he opens, and he goes, what kind of? I don't understand this with the 3. I go, well, the butane goes here, and then that's a screw to. He goes, I don't understand this. Wait. And it becomes like a thing. And I'm like, well, dude, either put it in or don't, but you don't have to question my choice in lighters. And he was getting like annoyed with I don't understand how this went 3.
Was it your Uber driver? 8 minutes. What is this?
Yes.
With the butane?
I have about 1 accent. I do have 1 accent. I do. So that's.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's the most racist accent I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Mission accomplished. That would be a funny sketch, actually. Something like that. Have the guy, the Uber driver, who's all pissed off, and then you get out of the car, and then you go, all right, I'm just going to go get a cigar, and then it's like his brother or something. Was very angry about filling the lighter. Just a day of dealing with angry, smelly, dirty European man.
Everywhere you go.
Maybe we do the 2 dicks time travel to Bayonne in 2023.
Well, that was, the concept.
I do want to have time travel dicks. Yeah, I think it would be hilarious.
Time travel dicks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to.
I think that'd be great. Yes, and then
why don't you book me?
I'm going to book you, and we're going to get it happening.
Give me a one night on a Wednesday and a weekend at a club.
Oh, that's easy. All right, you got
it. There, I can pay for my flight and my hotel.
You got it.
Oh, wait a minute! Yeah. You got a guest room. Is it occupied? Your guest room?
No, it's currently available. So,
do you think the lovely Kelly would be up to having Al Ducharme as a guest for 2 days?
I got to be honest, she's not a fan.
Okay,
So
I understand. And do you know what
yeah.
it is? You know what it is?
Mm,
Jealous.
that must be it.
She's so jealous that I take you for 1 hour a week.
Yes, you can't handle it. You can't handle it.
I get him for 1 hour, Kelly.
She'd
You
love
can have
to
him
have
the
you
rest
there.
of the time.
She's a big, actually, she's a big Al Ducharme fan. So she would
She's a
love it.
large air
Woman?
conditioner.
How dare you? How dare you say she's a large woman?
I didn't say that.
How
You said it.
dare
I said air conditioner. You said
oh.
fan. You called her a fan. I called her an air conditioner. It was a play on words. It was a Wendy Lieb and Tom Cotter moment. Why do you take it from me?
I heard it as she's a large, and then you were going to stop.
Then you cut me off. That's why. And you do it on purpose. You've already admitted it.
I do.
You get in close. You get in my ear.
Just to keep it moving, buddy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Hey,
speaking of keeping it moving, this is cup number 2 of coffee for me.
Nice. I did. This is my. I'm on 2.5. I'm on 2.5 Men, and that's where it's my happy place. Actually,
2.5 Men. When you're on 2.5 Men.
Hey now.
Actor said that actually. So what's going on with you? I'm going to be on 2.5 Men. So it's 2 regular dudes and a small person. I didn't want to say midget because we'll get canceled.
Or listeners. We get the non-PC people come in here. So we talk midgets and faggots all day long.
Oh my God.
I got 2 L's, 1 pod.
Why do you make me edit so much?
Join us. Do not edit. That's the clip, you son of a bitch.
No, it is not.
That's the clip.
No, they got to listen to this whole episode to hear that shit.
You got to go deep in the app, as they say.
You got to go 37 minutes in. Questions.
They love to ask questions of the 2 Ls. It's on the Instagrammy. Generally, that's where these questions pop in. And let's hit our first one here. This is Brian A1. Oh, no, Brian, I guess AI. Brian AI. How do you feel comedy has changed now that there is so much on the internet? Do you think you can really start to build a fan base on social media / YouTube? You want to start with that one, Alfred?
If you're saying it's much harder to start a fan base now than it was 5 to 10 years ago, especially with all this stuff in its infancy. If you were savvy and focused, you could build up quite the fan base without being famous. It is more difficult now. There are people that are still doing it, but it's challenging. I'm always late to the party on these things. But they say it's consistency, interesting stuff, but it always changes too. And you got to really you have to hire people. You have to hire people, marketing people and whatnot.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. And a little late to the party, I feel like. But there is that consistency. I was talking to the comic I worked with last week, and he was amazed at the fact that we've done 230. He was like, that's great. He goes, how do you do it? You travel. And I go, yeah, we make it work. He goes, that's great, man. And we were saying, he goes, they all fall apart. And I go, yeah, we talk about that
episodes.
all the time.
If you make it to 50, I think only like 10% make it to 50 episodes. This is 236.
Oh my God. Damn.
Plus 17 web series episodes of The Two Dicks, 1950s detectives shot in black and white.
All while traveling the world.
Yes.
And working at night every night, basically. Almost every night, it seems. So
Boston, Florida, Vegas.
That's right.
California.
So get on that Patreon. Give us a little support here, folks. Help us out. Help a dick out. We'll help you with our dick too. You know what I'm saying?
Patreon.com/the two dicks is actually 2 L's and 1 pod. If you'd like to support us, you go there, because a lot of people still don't know what Patreon is. It's a dumb name. It's a fucking dumb name.
It is. I get a patron of the arts, so we'll be a Patreon. I at the time, I guess they were like, that's pretty good, but no, it doesn't work. And there's so many people, I guess, because in life, if you're not in this business or a fan of someone, if you're just a guy, regular Joe, you're never going to hear the word Patreon or be involved. Like a 55-year-old plumber guy who just has his life.
Nope.
He doesn't know Patreon. He never heard of it.
Nope.
Why would he?
$5 a month.
Yeah, and young people know it. They like to watch podcast things. But our audience, I'm not saying we're old, but our audience, a lot of them, doesn't still really understand it.
Nope.
And they don't like to open the old wallet and pay $5, which is ridiculous.
But the frivolous things they spend money on is
unbelievable. Wasteful.
Why does that guy need 2 grills, a smoker, and a pizza oven?
And an egg and a pizza oven?
Yep.
Well, you have a pizza oven.
I do.
Yeah, it's an extravagance. But
you know what? It's therapeutic for me. And when I get home, just about every single time I go home, day 2, day 3, I'm making pizza.
And jerk off? Oh, and make a pizza.
That's the cream sauce.
Hey now. Well, head over to the Ducharme place. That's pretty tasty. I hear it's tasty. I don't know. I've never tasted it, but I hear it's tasty. Your pizza. I've never had one. You never invited me over.
I have to edit so much. Fuck.
I've never been to the Ducharme abode. Whatever it is, mistake. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Well, we just made a purchase too.
You did? I didn't know that. Let me hear your purchase.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm saying you've gone to Napa twice.
Personally, or
you've gone to Napa, which is north of me, but you could have deviated and come in for 2 days and shot an episode.
And I like to go there and just deviate. You know what I mean? Be a deviant.
Clearly.
Yeah. We just bought some e-bikes, Kelly and I.
Oh yeah. I was looking into those.
E-bikers. Oh, we will be. But, yeah. Million trails all over near our condo. And just to go down to Clearwater Beach and park and pay for parking and the nightmare of parking, and now all that's eliminated. We just get on the bike, boom, drive, go get a cocktail, have the bikes next to us.
You're right. You don't drive it. You ride it.
That's right, baby. It's gonna be fun.
So what is the deal? Is this a moped thing where it's part pedal and so you have if your battery runs out, you can pedal.
You can pedal. I use it as a regular bike. I've done, and then, but like going over the causeway, that bridge.
Yeah, you put it in electric mode.
If you have a bike, you're walking it. But if you have an e-bike, you put up to 1 or 2.
I was looking into them, but that was the thing. The getting the exercise versus the convenience of it. But going to the beach without the car is kind of a nice thing. Yeah.
Nice. And I rode them and I pedaled the whole time. But sometimes you can put it on like a 1 and it'll go with you with the pedaling, which is nice.
Assist.
So then you're really moving along there. And if you get tired and feel like taking a little break, you continue moving.
Which ones did you get? You got to send me info because
I'll send you the info.
Because my bike, my regular mountain bike, and I live right near some mountains, it's just been collecting dust. I don't think I've been on it since last spring or something, because then it gets too hot out here. That's another thing. I was looking at the electric bikes. When you go out and it's 103 degrees, you don't want to be pedaling in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you really want to work out.
You'll get a good workout though, definitely. And it's nice. I think it's just like it's such a great thing to just be able to I don't feel like pedaling right now and still go. But if you want to pedal, you have a regular bike.
Well, send me the link. I'll check them out.
I'll send you the link. Very good. All right. So we answered that. I think comedy. Oh, I didn't answer it, but comedy changed. Yeah, I mean, the internet, it's good and bad. I think it's really good because you can do this kind of thing. And it's good. Whereas when we started, you just get in the car and go to a gig and do a show. And if you were there, you saw it. And if you weren't, that was it. You missed it.
Yep.
You never heard about it again. But yeah, a little late to the party on these. I think some kids, like that kid, Matt Rife, that kid's blowing up.
He's blowing up now.
He's doing the Dane Cook method.
Yeah, but he's 35 years younger than us, 30 years younger than us.
At least.
And he's just killing it right now. And he's like selling out. But he's he's got a team of people doing his editing, making him look very
Oh,
slick.
sure. And he's doing like, a special and basically just do crowd work. So you get a million clips out of that. And he said, he goes, my favorite kind, I base everything on Dane Cook, with the way Dane Cook approached his, comedy and his career. That's what he's doing. He's become that.
Yep. Dane Cook was the pioneer for us anyways. One of the pioneers.
But it's good and bad because he's not respect. Do you want to be I get he wants to make money. That's great. But it's also like Dane Cook's not respected as a comedian.
No, because if that matters, he doesn't have the Bill Burr respect,
right?
The Chappelle respect.
He's not. No, and comedians just regular. We don't look at him that way.
Well, I believe Dane is very talented, and certainly the business sense early on at a young age, very focused. And he's actually got some acting chops, but I think he may have his handlers. He had management and agents, and I think he fired a lot of people. He was one of the pioneers of getting the social media platforms to work for him, to Paul Voltaire, to the star. But I don't think his level and experience of stand-up comedy, was in tandem.
Couldn't sustain. He couldn't sustain.
Yeah.
Where Louis.
And I know this is going to sound like a slam because I do like the guy, but I think his fame rose much higher than his experience as a stand-up comedy, and there's only a few exceptions to that, and that would be Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle at 17, you saw him saying, "Oh,"
right.
And I did see him at 17, 18, 19 years old. You're like, "Oh, this guy he's got an old soul. He's like." It's like super intelligent and way ahead.
Well, there's different. Yeah, he's
different. And a big pothead, huge pothead. And I'm like,
but doesn't matter.
I smoke pot. Different. I'm a fucking wreck for 12 hours.
But he's different. He's a different guy. It's like a guitar player in England talking about, I saw Clapton. I started with Clapton. I still play guitar in a band, but I'm not Clapton. It's a different. Chappelle is different. You know what I mean? Where Dane Cook is a regular comic who, worked it and had success, but the material, it wasn't there. And if you went back to see him again, it wasn't there again. And then when people look back, it seemed rather like it's very college age kind of humor.
Very, very talented, very in the moment. And the thing is, he can go on stage for hours. But that's where you get caught up in your own little.
Who wants that? Who wants hours?
Because he was going for records, and I think him and Chappelle were going for records. And
that is the worst.
Once you get past an hour,
come on. You're
just working out. You're just working out.
Yeah. So. No matter who, you just an hour and a half. That's plenty. But up there with a microphone just for hours, are you kidding? I mean, I don't know who sits there through it because I'd be out the door. I can't watch that.
I remember when I was a young lad starting out in stand-up comedy, Jay Leno was performing in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and we had the Periwinkle's Comedy Club in Providence. And one of the guys reached out to his people, and he ended up comping 8 of us to go see him. And back then, probably in the late 80s, he did about 45 minutes and then said, let's bring up the house lights. Brought up the house lights, went into the crowd, and did about 35 minutes of crowd work, interviewing people like he was doing the Tonight Show.
Right.
And then he went back up on stage and did another 10 or 15 to close it out. And it was this whole show. It was great. He was phenomenal. But once he got past the hour, he knew that he had to mix it up a little bit to make it interesting.
He still does that.
Yeah. That's
somebody saw him recently, I forget who, and they said the hour, that old hour, that is the old hour from 1980. And then he did Q&A and, kind of finish it up. But anyway, okay, well, Brian, AI, I hope we answered that. And now we'll move on. Another question here, Alfred. Are you ready?
I'm ready for the other question.
This is from Olivia, my niece Olivia, popping on Olivia. To ask us a question. She wrote, what is the hardest room/city to perform in when you started? What did you find to be the hardest room or city? I mean, I started in Norfolk and then Virginia Beach and then moved to New York. And Long Island and Staten Island they were pretty tough. I mean, those were tough places, those crowds. Not the brightest.
Make me laugh. Let's go. Come on.
A lot of that. A lot of, yep.
I'm going in the same direction because I started out Providence, Boston, and then I made my way down to New York City. New York City wasn't bad because you had a lot of tourists. But then when I started doing those Long Island gigs, the people that lived there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, finish it. I think I'm on the same track as
you. No, yeah. And that was it. And I got some really nice gigs out of the fact that Long Island was tough. Where I remember I was at Governor's and this guy who booked Acme, not Acme, what's the club in Ann Arbor, Michigan? Comedy something, I can't remember. But anyway, great club right near the University of Michigan. Anyway, he was a comic headliner on tour, and he was closing the Wednesday night at Governor's on Long Island. And I was the middle act, and he had never played Long Island before. And I went up and just did fine. And then he went up and ate the big bag of dicks, just the worst. And he was shaking. He was like, dude, that was fucking horrible. He goes, how did you? I go, yeah, blah, blah. He goes, well, you can headline my club anytime, man. He goes, you can do what you just did. I'll give you a week. So I was like, great. And I took a weekend, and it was fun. It was a great club. I could remember it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
That would be the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase.
But he had never dealt
club
with
that everybody loves.
Yeah, but he had never dealt with the Long Island, person with the arms crossed and the attitude and the talking.
He was performing in the Midwest.
And they ate him up.
You know what was I appreciate and respect about that guy? He didn't let his ego get in the way. He was smart. He said, I got to get this guy in my club.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some guys, their ego would be so bruised, they'd be like, fuck that guy. They blame it all on you, why they didn't have a good set. And then just leave town.
But he knew enough. He's an owner, comedian. He knew. And we were talking, I remember vividly talking to him, and he just was like, I can get them. I have to really kind of approach this differently with this law. I go, Long Island, man. I go, it's different. It's not, it's not even New York City. It's not Staten Island's different. And it takes a while. It took you have to know how to play these rooms. To me, the toughest rooms I would do one-nighters in the South. Go down like driving and do Atlanta, but in the way there, like a one-nighter in Greensboro and then a one-nighter in Fayetteville. Those were rough. Those were bar gigs.
They made us solid comedians, though. Once you do a number of those, you have those under your belt, then you're seasoned. You're like a cast iron pan. You can perform just about anywhere under any circumstances. I'm going on and on right now because Al is frozen and he's back. You're back.
I'm back in the saddle again. I don't know if
in the saddle again. I'm back.
So yeah, one-nighters in the South would be my answer for the hardest room city when I started. Those gave me the fucking, I go look at the itinerary. I go Greensboro Wednesday night. Oh my god! And Billy Bob's Biker Ball, 4 B's in a row.
Numerous bars like that, and again, they made us stronger as comedians. But I will say that before I started doing the casinos and the theaters of the casinos or their comedy clubs, they used to put comedians in the middle of the casino next to a bar and perform like you were a band, and those were horrendous. There was just like no reason to do it, and they did it for a few weeks, a month or two, and then they realized, okay, we got to put them in the function room.
Right.
So people are pulling slot machines, ding 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 ding. Smoking,
that was the
drinking, all the vices, and they're turning over their shoulder, going, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah. Yeah, I used to try to like rush the joke to beat the sound of ding, 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 ding.
I remember it well.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But those were days where they thought you could just put comedy anywhere. And we'll get people. Just throw a sign up, comedy. And now,
Comedy
now
All-Stars.
everyone, Comedy All Stars, exactly. That's why now everyone YouTubes and Googles who's there, and it's a different. Go back to that other question. It's kind of a different. It shows you how the world is different. You just don't go to. I mean, some people probably do, but generally, people will look into who they're seeing that night.
Comedy comes to you.
Okay, I don't know what character that was, but I'm not going with it.
All right,
I'm just leaving it there.
Denying me again in the improv. Third time.
I'm like Bernie. I deny you. Here we go. We have another question.
A third question. Dum, dum, dum. Boop, boop.
Kate Gordon pops in. You know Kate?
I do know Kate.
Yeah, very
talented singer.
She's out there.
She's a bit of an influencer. She's doing fashion influencing.
I never met her personally. I just know her through our groups, and I've seen some clips where she's singing, and beautiful voice. I mean, she really voice comes out
very
of this
deceiving because she's like this petite little thing. All of a sudden, this voice comes out. You're like, whoa!
Yeah, it's like Jesus. You know what I mean? Because anyway, I've seen other people and their singing is to snuff, but hers is very good.
Mm-hmm.
She asked us a question, Alfred. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. You look a little frozen. Okay, here we go.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
It's a simple one. Just says Taco Bell or Del Taco. Now, I've never had Del Taco, so I'm going to be quick and answer Taco Bell.
I'm going Taco Bell as well. I've done Del Taco, but I just don't remember.
Is that a West Coast only?
I don't
Taco.
know. I don't even remember where it was. We went in. I was like, oh, it's like Taco Bell, but different. But I wasn't blown away.
I remember the only time in the last 3 years I went to Taco Bell, it was during COVID. And I was watching TV and they showed a bunch of food and they went only like $2.99. And I was like, well, hell, that's pretty good. I went out and I got that meal. I came back to my apartment and, it was garbage, but it filled me up for a few hours for $2.99. You want to go, wait a second, they're still making money on the bag, paper, roll. How did they make what am I eating exactly? What is this?
Chipotle is the one you want to go to. Chipotle, $8.95.
It was COVID, sir. It was COVID. I didn't have $8.95. You son of a bitch.
I know.
You were sitting home in your pajamas having food delivered, and I was, scrounging for nickels.
I was doing voiceovers in my closet. That's the only reason I would have fancy food delivered. I thought it was going to last a month.
You were
I was ordering from Whole Foods.
Watch our classic COVID episodes on Friday, folks. You'll see Al's having the time of his life. He was never happier. He's never been happier. He didn't travel. He was home having food delivered
for a month.
Every day.
Month two is like, honey, we got to stop ordering Whole Foods.
Bernie are in their pajamas having margaritas at 10 a.m. They were living it, man. It was good times. I was going to fucking Taco Bell for the $2.99 special and then shitting my brains out for the next 3 days. But
you didn't have a girlfriend at the time.
I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything.
Now you got an e-bike. Now you have an e-bike and an
e-bike. I'm doing things have changed.
You're living with a little hottie, and it's all good.
Dave Burley, Dave Burley.
I don't know him. I know him from online and mutual friends, and he's an impressionist. Yeah. And did he play the piano as well? Yeah, he's very
he didn't play he plays, but he didn't.
He's one of the top impressionists. Funny. There's impressionists and then there's funny,
Exactly what I was saying to his girlfriend was on with him. And I was saying to that, I go, there are a lot of guys who can do these impressions, but he's funny. That makes it different. Anyway, he on stage, he was talking about COVID and he goes, I'm not saying I was depressed or anything, but, I realized, he was saying, it was COVID times, man. And he goes, not to say I was depressed, but I realized my ceiling fan doesn't hold my body weight while I'm wearing a mask. It's a little dark, but it's like, I understand that joke completely.
Yes.
Completely.
That's great.
Did we get through a full podcast, Alfred?
We did. We're about Yeah, it says an hour, 4 minutes, 29 seconds, 30 seconds, but I'll probably have to cut out about 4.
All right, because
5.
Kelly likes it an hour. You know what I'm saying? She likes a full
Yeah,
hour.
are you
Don't
confusing?
deny her an hour.
Are you
Don't deny
confusing
her
the
an hour.
podcast with your escapades?
I might be. I'm
Your
an older man.
interludes?
I get confused easily.
Dude, you got to get
Something-
a tag. You got to get a tag team partner or a relay.
Yeah. Tap out. Go. You got it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm at- I
That's
need
why
fluids.
AI, when you do the Android robots, you get a duplicate
Right.
of yourself. You go get a coffee and a snack while he's in there.
That's not a bad idea. And it's funny when AI is listed, it looks like Al. Looks like Al.
I already did the
this,
joke.
or Al did this. You did the joke already?
I said, I'm Al, the original artificial intelligence.
Ah, look at that. Nicely done. Nicely done. I knew. That's why. That's why
I was
hang with you, man.
self-deprecating, by the way.
It's a good joke.
That's why you hang with me 1 hour a week on the internet.
Yeah, you might have you got a piece of business there.
Well, I know Kelly's my competition, so I got to step it up.
Well, you said she's a large woman. I don't know how
I
that's
did
gonna-
not. I said she was large. I said she was an air conditioner. You said she was a big fan. I said she's a large air conditioner. That was the fucking joke. Holy
All right.
shit. And that's
That'll
it,
be
folks.
the clip.
Adios.
See ya.
So long, man. Have a good trip.
Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the 2 Als, 1 Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Patreon.com/The2Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.